He's Tony. I'm Mike. This is week 14 of the Action Bowl.
Week 14 of the Action Bowl, the final before the finals, and we have Jean Reno, who has had a dream season.
Dark horse.
Who has
dark horse.
Completely impressed every week. It's such a wonderful and surprising way. This is the reason that we do the Action Bowl, to watch movies that we were all like, when they came out. Against Scott Adkins, controversial though it may seem, but yet here he still is. Jean Reno drew Ronin.
Yep.
And Scott Adkins drew the Assassination Game. What are we going to talk about first?
Let's talk about the Assassination Games.
Let's.
Because I didn't realize this when we picked this movie, but it has Jean-Claude Van Damme in it.
Yes.
And in most cases, this would be like a huge bonus.
Yes.
Because it's Jean-Claude Van Damme. But Jean-Claude Van Damme in a villain role is or semi
Anti-hero.
ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. Either you're the hench or you're the hero. I don't like this middle ground Jean-Claude Van Damme bullshit.
Well, you're not wrong. It feels like every time that we're in the Action Bowl and we have a movie about competing assassins, it kind of sucks.
Yes.
Sure those antiques still work? One way to find out.
Sorry. Oh my God, I choked because you're 100% correct on that. Yes. Every time there's been competing assassin movies, it has blown. Yes. So it's a terrible concept, and thank God they don't really do this too much anymore. It was like a big thing in the 90s and maybe the early 2000s.
Oh yeah,
but
because assassins were cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, not really. No. They're kind of scummy, and this movie kind of shows why they're scummy. Just to get to the plot, just to sum it up as quickly as we possibly can. So there's this big mobster who is some sort of drug lord or some shit like that, who apparently Interpol is looking for Scott Adkins, who disappeared. And so they decide they're going to let him out of prison, and then they're going to put $1 million bounty on this guy's head. And so Jean-Claude Van Damme, he's just in it for the money, really.
Contract. Double your usual fee. Was the mark? Polo Yaker, a well-connected gentleman of.
It's like
He's
real estate.
professional.
It's real estate, but faster.
Yeah.
He's just there for the cash. But Scott Adkins, he wants revenge for what this monster did to his wife, which they never really quite explained. But
Oh yeah, they do.
Well,
oh yeah, they do. Oh, they show the scene. Yeah, she gets beaten and put into a coma. No, it's all on screen.
But it's just so stupid.
Yes, yes, it is dumb. It's an unnecessary plot point in a movie like this.
And the fact that she's just laying there on the couch the whole time.
It's worse than A Man Apart and Vin Diesel keep going back to the house.
Yes.
Because he's always at the fucking bedside, and he's always whining and crying about his wife. Which, I get it, okay? It's a shitty thing to happen to her. But again, it's an unnecessary plot point in a fucking movie where two assassins are supposed to be fighting against each other.
It would have been better if they had just killed her.
Yes.
Because then it would have made the villain more villainous, number one. But number two, it would have given him, there's an end goal to this. But the fact that he's trying to keep his comatose wife alive, And he's got to go save his comatose wife. I guess that's a really easy way to not have to pay SAG wages because she had no dialogue in this film. So they could pay her what they pay an extra.
Beg please forgive me.
Is the actress in the bed an actual actress?
Yeah.
She's a named
apparently,
actress?
yeah. Well, not here. She's. This was a like Slovakian, Belgian. When they were doing all these crappy action films and they were making them in the Eastern European countries, this is one of those. Because you could do it on the cheap, but it would look high production because you have all these old buildings and stuff like that. So I get it. It's got that old world charm. It's European flavor. But Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he lives in like this shitty building, but like behind this shitty facade, he has this luxurious apartment there where he keeps all of his violins that he plays from time to time. And he keeps getting interrupted by the local pimp and the damn hooker. And I'm just going to tell you, if you should happen to be a hooker with a heart of gold, do not befriend an assassin. It will not end well for you. Not this, not anything else we've watched either.
No, man. Yeah, you think Van Damme's gonna have his heart will grow 2 sizes that day? No, he didn't have a Grinch moment. He stayed a fucking Grinch.
You're wrong about me. I'm not a prisoner of anything.
That bitch died.
Brutally too. It was not like okay, so the bad guys get a hold of the hooker with the heart of gold.
Same bad guy that took
yes.
that messed up
Scott Adkins'
wife.
Now doormat. I'm sorry, comforter. She's decorative. She just sits on the bed. You take her off when you want to climb
A lounger. Lounger. Is that the right word? I don't know.
A duvet. Anyway, so he's on the phone with Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's very upset because Jean-Claude Van Damme tried to kill him but missed and killed his brother instead. And they went to Jean-Claude Van Damme's apartment and they found the prostitute who had apparently warmed him up enough to want to fuck. So they had sex the night before, and I don't know, Jean-Claude went out for a bagel and some coffee, and they're calling him and they're like, "We have your girl." And he's like, "She's not my girl." And he's like, "Oh, well, let's just see if that's true."
You are a hard man. But even hard men like us have something we care about.
And they brutally cut her to pieces and leave her bloody corpse sitting in the bed that they just had sex in. I think Jean-Claude Van Damme was more upset about the fact that it's hard to get blood out of Egyptian cotton sheets than he was about the fact that the prostitute is dead. And it's so heavy-handed. It's so stupid.
Yes.
It's so contrived. Everything that pops up in this film is like directly going to influence what is going on between the bad guy and the 2 assassins. And it's just
It's dumb.
dumb.
It's dumb. This should have been more like a buddy cop type of a movie, where they're assassins, but they team up and do the buddy cop thing to take care of the other guy. There should have been no women involved in it all whatsoever. It's just they just need to be in there. No, this is dumb. This is dumb, like in every conceivable way. I did like the casting. I did like Jean-Claude Van Damme. I do like Scott Adkins. I think if they had another chance to do another movie, it could have turned out better. But this is the wrong thing to put him in.
Yeah,
it's the entirely wrong tone. You do not need chicks and romance in an assassination movie like this.
You can have it for one of them, but not for both of them.
Yes.
And that's
they
kind
double
of
down.
Yeah, I mean the big thing about this one is legitimately when they both try to assassinate the big bad in this, and they interfere with each other's hit. That's fine, but when the 2 of them meet and they have their fight and they're like, "Wait a minute, look, this is personal for me. You can keep the money."
The Polo contract is mine, exclusive.
I don't care about the money. personal.
You lose me my fee. It's personal to me.
I'm trying to figure out why the fuck Jean-Claude cares after that. If it's like, oh, if I get to keep the money and you're gonna do the work, yeah, screw it, I'll get your way. Hell, I'll help you. I'll give you all the information that I have on this because all I care about is the paycheck. And then to have the Interpol cops who released the bad guy so that they could flush Scott Adkins' character out because he's a hitman, but he hasn't killed anyone in over a year ever since something happened. And it's like, then why the fuck do you care?
Right. And, this plot made zero sense.
We pay off the Ukrainians, release Polo, put a price on his head. What makes you think Flint will even show?
It's personal. He's obsessed. Let's use that.
I have no understanding of anybody's motivation short of Scott Adkins. And Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's in it for the money. Scott Adkins is in it for revenge. But everybody else's fucking motives are like, okay, whatever.
And then there's Jean-Claude Van Damme's agent, who apparently, even though they've worked together for like over a decade, he's like happy to sell him out if the money's right.
I want the man who killed my brother.
Impossible. Unless the price is right.
It's
It's
terrible.
insultingly stupid. It doesn't mean that it's not fun, but don't look.
No, it is not fun. No, it is boring. It's awful. It is stupid. There is absolutely nothing redeeming about this fucking movie. And with that, let's just go ahead and get to the source.
Let's do it. Let's unzip. So for the plot, I gave it a 5.
Wow, you're generous.
I'm incredibly generous with that. I gave it a 5 because, yeah, it is everything about it. They took every average action film plot and put it in one script.
Yes, oh my God, that's the best way to describe it, yes.
And that deserves a 5, god damn it. For the style, it's a 4, because for all the money that they spent on this, it still looks cheap. This has available at the red box all over it. And for the entertainment, it's a 4, because man, yes, it has Scott Adkins, and yes, it has Jean-Claude Van Damme, and man, I would want my $1.50 back.
Yes. Yeah.
So for me, this is a 13.
We're really close. We're really close. Plot's a 4. For reasons you said, it's a mishmash of like every fucking shitty action movie out there, just done poorly. Style's a 5. It's very average looking. The action's very average. Everything about what you're seeing on the screen and the performances are very
Which
average.
is really a waste of Jean-Claude Van Damme and Scott Adkins. So.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And for entertainment, it's a 3. It was so dull. It was so boring. I mean, this is the biggest misuse of 2 action stars put to screen. So it's, let's see if I get a 12.
So we're just telling you that if someone pulls out the Assassination Game, tell them you need to go home. Coming up next, Jean Reno and Ronin. Stay tuned. So the dark horse, the darkest of dark horses, Jean Reno, has impressed the shit out of it in week 1. He blew us away with the Crimson Rivers.
Yes.
In week 2, he killed it with Leon, the professional.
You see.
Did he maintain for week 3 for you and Ronin? Because I gotta be honest, I saw this movie not real long after it came out, and ultimately kind of forgot about it. And then on rewatch, just like Leon, I was like, shit, I should have paid more attention to this back then. This movie kind of fucking rocks.
To our shifts. I'll watch the front.
Later.
You guys watch the back.
Merci.
I didn't think of it very fondly the first time I watched it. I was like, it's okay. Upon watching it again, I don't think I have quite your enthusiasm, but I did get a respect for this film.
I'm gonna say that. Okay, so this starts off and there is this Irish group that we know nothing about that is getting together a group of what they assume are former spies because they can get them cheap, and they're trying to secure the satchel.
What's the job?
There are some people who have something we require, and we want you to get it from them.
What I actually appreciated about this film, and this is where I think this film kind of went above and beyond, is in trying to really relay putting together a team of people that live, you know, secret agent sort of stuff. It doesn't feel like a James Bond knockoff. It doesn't feel like, oh, look how exciting it is. No, these are people that are gathering intelligence and they do covert work. And they're not going to advertise it, number one.
You ever kill anybody?
I hurt somebody's feelings once.
They tend to settle the argument.
So what do you favor? Oh, you know, it's a toolbox. I don't care. You put the tools in for the job, that's all.
Number two, they're going to be getting by based on their reputation of stuff that they've done in the past and have they been able to, you know, keep whatever secrets that they're going after to themselves. And I love the fact that when they're putting the team together, nobody knows anybody, nobody trusts anybody, nobody's really talking to anybody, and they're trying to get each other to talk, to kind of spill the beans a little bit, to get a little bit of information about it.
You've done this kind of thing before? Oh. How difficult can it be?
And we find out that Robert De Niro's character is actually someone who's former CIA, and he left the company, as it's referred to. Jean Reno was in French intelligence, and he's still in, and he's got a vested interest in what's going on here. But then we get Sean Bean, and he's supposed to be ex-military, and Robert De Niro uncovers the fact that he's full of shit in the most beautifully subtle way possible.
What's the color of the boathouse at Hereford? What's the color of the boathouse at Hereford?
I don't like your
The
attitude.
color of the boathouse.
Oh, fuck off!
And I love that after that he's like, here's the rest of your money, get up.
This will complete your compensation. Thanks for your time. Feel free to leave when we're gone.
They don't like whack him, they don't
Yeah.
leave him in the trunk of a car. No, they're just kind of like, yeah, we know that you're full of shit. Here's the rest of your payment, go.
So what color is the boathouse at Hereford?
How the fuck should I know?
Get out of here. And then we find out that one of the team members is actually a former KGB who's actually, well, he's playing for himself now. He got himself put into the mix specifically so he could try to intercept the package and get it to the Russians because he's going to sell it to them. Big money involved there. It's incredibly smart. It's incredibly detail-oriented. But in spite of all that, when they get to the action sequences in this film, they are spectacularly good. The car chase.
The car chase is
so good.
The car chase is. There's multiples, and each one is, like you said, spectacular.
At no point do they feel stunty, they don't feel showy, they don't feel, it feels almost documentary-ish.
Yeah.
It sticks to its guns of presenting this in a realistic way that if you ever really thought about it, you'd be like, yeah, that's kind of how it would go, isn't it? You know, they're not going to be busting out machine guns from behind the headlights or stupid shit like that. And you know, if you have to take down a target, you're going to try to do it and get the hell out of there as quickly as possible. I also love the fact that that first car chase where they have the big car crash and they're trying to get the team out, and that's when the Russian guy changes the case for a duplicate.
Get the car up the other end, we'll meet you up there! Take it! Get out of here! I'll see you at the safe house! Hey! Get rid of the case! Get rid of the case!
And then he kind of disappears. Like I said, it's so smart. It's so well handled. But then there's a spoiler skip ahead 5 minutes if you don't want the spoiler. I'm just going to give you that warning right now. But I love the fact that you go through all this and it's all about the case. But then we find out that no, Robert De Niro did not leave the CIA. He's still in it. He specifically got put on this mission because he is after the guy.
I didn't come for the case. I came for your boss. I came for Seamus. I never left. Don't you see?
This all boils down to the Irish, the peace with the Irish and the UK, and this guy is part of Sinn Féin, and he is trying to get this case to continue a military campaign against the British and keep the peace from happening, and Robert De Niro is there to whack his ass so that the peace process can move forward.
Of the Irish terrorist Seamus O'Rourke that contributed to stability, largely allowing the negotiations to proceed to their historic conclusion today.
And as far as the case goes, when Robert De Niro is asked what was in the case, he's like, I don't fucking remember. And I love that line. It's so good. Yeah. So, okay.
So I think it's a little convoluted. There's a lot of intricacies and stuff like that you have to follow, and you'll miss a lot of this shit if you don't like.
Yeah.
Pay fucking like super close attention. I don't know if the payoff is worth all the extra bullshit you got to pay attention to get through it. So it's kind of a tedious watch. Even though it's an entertaining watch, it's still a little tedious. I actually enjoyed Robert De Niro in this one, which I didn't think I did so much the first time around. But it's just really good writing. I don't think it's so much his acting. I think it's just the writing.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
You're not wrong. You could substitute a lot of different actors in for Robert De Niro in this, and it would still work out every bit as well.
Yeah. Now, his screen chemistry with Jean Reno is really good.
Yes.
Like you can see those two hit it off, and I would be surprised like if off screen they were buddies and shit like that. It came across that good.
What wasn't the case?
I don't remember.
And Jean Reno's a charming motherfucker.
Oh, yes, he is.
You can't help but to like him the second he's on film.
And even beyond that, there is this professional respect that you immediately see. Like, they both know they're the real deal.
Yeah.
And they immediately bond over that.
You labor or management?
If I was management, I wouldn't have given you a cigarette.
And then as it continues to go on, Robert De Niro gets hit, and Jean Reno takes him to another French Secret Service person to get the bullet out of him. And watching that scene where they're trying to get the bullet out of Robert De Niro, and he's talking them through the process, and he's got the clamps, and the bullet slips.
Take the clamp and open up the hole. Just put it in there. Put it in there.
It's excruciating. It's so effective. It's so well done. And he's got to dig back into the wound to try and get that bullet out. That was the scene. That was the moment right there where I was like, okay, if this movie doesn't win, then there's something really wrong going on here. Because I like that. Had the hairs on the back of my neck standing up. It was so cringe-inducing. Yeah. When that slip, it was so good. Jean Reno is a charming motherfucker, and their chemistry together make this film.
Yes, it does.
Everything else could have been reduced, and as long as those two, that performance, those two bonding on film like this movie still would have worked. But they didn't cut any corners on this. Yeah. So I can't wait to hear your scores. I'm kind of excited.
So I enjoyed this film. I didn't love it, but I still scored it, I think, appropriately. Plot's a 5. And it's a 5 because I don't care for all the extra bullshit. They could have trimmed the fat off of this one. I think there's a little too much on there. I think taking away some of these plot points would have streamlined the movie and made it go a little bit faster, because it slows it. While the pacing and the action is the action pacing is fast, the stuff in between sometimes kind of drags a little bit. So it's a 5. Style's a 7, because what is on screen when it's kicking and it's hitting all cylinders is great. Those chase scenes are great. The other action scenes, the shoot 'em up scenes are great. The locations that they pick are great. It's a 7 in style all day long. Entertainment, it's a 6. So it's kind of meets the middle. The plot kind of drags it down a little bit. You know, well, you still got great style, so it's like right in the middle. You know, if it had a little bit better story, the entertainment wouldn't have went up. You know, so that's kind of where it was. You know, like if the plot was a 6, the entertainment would have been a 7. But still, it's a 17, which is a solid score for me.
So, all right. So for the plot, I gave it an 8. I thought it was smart. It was interesting. It was convincing. It was authentic. It was genuine. And the
I'll give you
character
that.
moments. Yeah,
I'll give you that.
This was a cut above a lot of spy thrillers. And no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The style, I gave it a 6. I didn't love the style. The action sequences were good, but they weren't like blow my hair off. Shut up. I enjoyed them for what they were. They were definitely better than serviceable, but they weren't like mind-blowing. But I think that was a conscious choice. I think they wanted it to feel real. Like they wanted it to feel lived in, so they didn't go over the top with it. And then for the entertainment, I gave it a 7. I really did not expect to enjoy this film as much as I did because I had seen it before, but I really paid attention this time, and paying attention to it pays off. This is a movie that will benefit from multiple viewings. So for me, I gave this one a 21. So that is our scores for Ronin. So coming up next, our results. Stay tuned.
You're a dead man.
So the final of the finals, Jean Reno against Scott Adkins. For Scott Adkins, the Assassination Game, even with all the help of Jean-Claude Van Damme, you scored it a 12, I scored it a 13. That gives us an average score of 12.5. And then Jean Reno showed up and was all like, yeah, you're done. He was very professional about it. You gave it a 17. I gave it a 21. So Ronin gets an average score of 19. So I know you've been waiting to do this.
The French win again.
So there you have it. Jean Reno moves on into the final against Vin Diesel. Scott Adkins, action mo of shame, where Mike thinks he should have been after week 1 anyway. So all's well that ends well. Coming up next, our drawing for the finals. Stay tuned. So here it is. The drawing for week 15, the Action Bowl. We have Vin Diesel, who has conquered Pam Grier, who has conquered Harrison Ford, who has conquered, who else?
I don't know, the other person.
Yeah, whoever it was in week 1 that he sent home crying. And then we have Jean Reno, who has had the highest average score of any player this season.
I'm sure everything's like probably right close to 20, isn't it?
Everything has been right around 20. So, first week, the Crimson Rivers, he destroyed Tyrone Power, and then he came back and he destroyed Errol Flynn, and then he came back and he was all like, oh yeah, let me take care of your Scott Adkins problem for you. So here it is. I will be drawing for Vin Diesel. Mike will be drawing for Jean Reno.
Let's go ahead and do the Diesel here.
I want that. All right, so Vin Diesel will be represented in the final by, shit, the Fast and the Furious.
The Diesel ain't fucking around,
Yeah,
man.
I'm saying, Vin came to play. So, all right. Pick a good one. No, pick a mystery. Pick one that we have no idea what the hell it is.
I don't know. I'm gonna pick whatever this is. And we got La Femme Nikita.
Oh.
Which I've heard about this movie, but I've never actually seen. And they had a show for this stupid thing.
They
too,
had
right?
a show
That's
for
just stupid,
this that ran for several seasons. Bridget Fonda remade this film here as Point of No Return.
Oh yeah.
Yes, so that was a U.S. version
which
of
is
this.
actually pretty decent. So this is probably really good then.
This is the movie that made Luc Besson. So yeah, we have Jean Reno in a Luc Besson film. This is going to be a fucking final for the ages right here, my man. I was hoping we were going to pick two shit movies. I thought we were going to get like Godzilla versus The Last Witch Hunter, and we were going to talk about which movie sucked less. Instead, we get two fucking masterpieces going head to head. This is as good as it gets right here. If this does not like get you fucking ready to shoot that final, I don't know what it's going to take.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of haters for Fast and the Furious. I'm not one of them. I actually enjoy the movies, so I haven't seen La Femme Nikita, so this is gonna be really interesting. Really interesting.
I'm fucking thrilled. So those are our selections for the Action Bowl. That's coming up next week. Mike we'll be back. So we have a great matchup for the final of the Action Bowl. And just so you know how seriously we take this, we wanted to let you know what was left in the jar for our two finalists. I'm going to take a look at the other two films of Vin Diesel. And Vin Diesel had The Last Witch Hunter in the jar. And then he also had Bloodshot.
What the fuck is Bloodshot?
Exactly.
Wait, is he a DC character?
It's a comic book adaptation, and I want to say it was Image Comics, but I'm not positive on that one. But they did this like weird stylized black, white, and red kind of thing. They were trying to go for, I think, a Frank Miller Sin City vibe with it.
Well, let's see. Jean Reno had left. Ooh, Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
So, damn, that's a good one. Well, you know what? Actually, I really don't remember Mission Impossible all that fondly. Now that I think about it.
Mission Impossible is a series of films that has gotten better as it's gone on, because the first one was sold on how cool it was, not on how good it was.
And then lastly, Godzilla. So, no, we did our duty. We pulled the best of what was remaining. And yeah, this is going to be a fucking slugfest. This is going to be some good shit. I am properly excited for this coming up.
So that's what they had left in the jar. Mike will be back to close us out. We'll see you soon.
So join us for the final of the Action Bowl. We have Jean Reno and La Femme Nikita against Vin Diesel and the Fast and the Furious.
We will catch you then.